I wrong for stopping my cousin's marriage proposal? I, 27 female, just got married to the love of my life, Jacob, 30 male, this past weekend. My cousin Patrick, 34 male, has always been immature, selfish, and rudely forthright. For as long as I can remember, he has never failed to make birthday parties, not his own, holidays, and other occasions all about him. The adults in the family have always shown him favoritism, and this has over time spoiled and enabled him. A week before the wedding, he called to let me know that he was going to propose to his longtime girlfriend during the reception. This infuriated me, but I calmly asked him not to go through with it. When he asked why, I said that I did not want attention to be deviated away from me and my husband on our special day. This did not go over well, and soon after he began yelling at me. He even went as far as calling me a selfish and then hung up on me. Later that day, I received multiple angry phone calls from our parents saying that I was being selfish and unreasonable. I explained to them that at the end of the day, it was my wedding day and that it was my decision if I wanted the proposal to take place. This angered many, with some family members going as far as deciding not to attend. I assumed that Patrick was going to make a no-show, but to my surprise, he texted me saying that he'd show up anyway. I knew that he was going to go against my wishes and carry on with the proposal. So I concocted a plan and showed a picture of Patrick to the live band that I hired for the reception. I even paid them extra with the request to start playing should Patrick ever try to make a speech. The day was finally here and Patrick arrived with his girlfriend and his parents. He was acting very cordial for once, but I was not fooled. After the maid of honor and best man speeches, I noticed Patrick getting up from his seat and making his way towards the stage. And just like that, the band started to play. I smiled, grabbed my husband, and rushed to the dance floor. Everyone else joined in, and it looked as though Patrick's actions went unnoticed. He made 3 more attempts, which were shut down immediately with loud music. Some of the cousins even blocked his path, telling him to just cut it out. He looked more and more angry as the night progressed, and eventually grabbed his girlfriend's hand and stormed out of the venue. As I watched him leave, I laughed out loud and had a blast for the rest of the night with my family and friends. I woke up the next morning to more angry text messages and voicemails, which I ignored. I decided not to engage in the drama and just enjoy my honeymoon with my husband. So, am I the asshole?
My sister's dating the love of my life. Story time. I really don't know what to do about this situation, so any help would be much appreciated. But my sister started dating this new guy and she has not stopped telling us how brilliant he is. So we were all set to meet him at this family party that one of our friends was throwing. Don't ask me how we got onto this, but we started to play hide and seek. I ended up hiding in the bathroom, but I didn't realise that there was already somebody in there. There was this guy in there who we'll just call Steve, was drinking beer in the bath. I'm not gonna lie, I was so over the party so I couldn't be bothered to be found, so I just got in the bath with him. So we start sharing his beers and he finally gets around to telling me why he's in the bathtub. So after about an hour of being sat in this bathtub with this guy, I just have the sudden urge to kiss him. And my mind starts running away with me. I'm like, I'm gonna introduce him to my parents, we're gonna get married, have babies. But about an hour into our conversation, he gets a phone call and he answers and says, "Hey babe." He's like, "I'm so sorry, I've just been throwing up in the bathroom." And I was like, I have been throwing myself at this guy for the past hour and he is dating someone. He turns to me and says that he's got to go and he's got to go meet his girlfriend's friends. And that was when it clicked. I think this is my sister's boyfriend. So we quickly run out the bathroom together. I head downstairs and I head straight to my sister and all of her friends. Me and Steve end up at the same location. And that was when my sister introduces Steve as her boyfriend to all of her friends. Not gonna lie, this was the beginning of the end for me. As the weeks followed, Steve was round at our apartment all the time. And the more and more he was round our house, the more my feelings grew for him. It was bad. And one day, he invites me to lunch. Just me and him. And when I asked him why, it's because he said that he'd noticed I'd become really distant with him. We spent hours together. And as the night was approaching, he says to me, "Why don't we make a bet?" He says, "If you win, I'll do anything you ask. And if you lose, I get to ask you anything." So anyway, fast forward, I lost. And he asks, "Do you have feelings for me?" I stick by the rules of the bet and answer honestly. So I told him that I did have feelings for him. And then, plot twist of the century, he tells me that he has feelings for me too. He said he'd felt this way about me since we were drinking in the bathtub. He then went in to kiss me. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I didn't pull away. All my morality went out the window. I was kissing him like it's the last thing I ever did, because if my sister find out, it might have actually been. Now whenever he comes round to our house, he always comes into my room at night and sneaks a cuddle. And I don't feel guilty because I know that we're meant to be.
Am I the astronaut for taking my daughter out to eat? So I, 39 male, have a 16 female daughter from a previous marriage. For context, I met my now wife, 37, when my daughter was 10, and she had a son, 7 male, when we met. Our relationship was great, and our connection was really present throughout our relationship. 5 months into our relationship, I introduced her to my ex, 35 female, and my daughter. My ex and wife were cordial, and my daughter warmed up to her quickly. From what I know, they had a good relationship. My daughter grew up sort of a picky eater. For example, she won't eat things like oatmeal, tomatoes, garlic, mushrooms, barbecue, anything salty or sour, etc. She loves spicy food, sweets, and all that, and you could not trick her into eating anything she didn't like. When she was 13, I put 1 garlic clove in the melted butter I was using to make her grilled cheese. I don't know how, but she could taste it and knew for a fact the taste wasn't that strong. Her taste buds / sense of taste amazed me. Oh, she ignored me for a whole week and didn't eat anything I cooked for her. I never tried anything like that again. I work a 5 to 8 shift, but yesterday I got off around 9 because my group and I wanted to hurry and finish our part of a work project we had. When I got home, my wife had already prepared dinner and left my plate in the oven. I heated my food and stood at the island and chatted with my wife, who was with our son in the living room. As I was eating, I realized that my wife had cooked garlic stir-fried rice, barbecue chicken, and a vegetable salad consisting of corn, tomatoes, mushrooms, and spinach. I stopped chatting with my wife and just observed my plate for a good 5 minutes. My wife asked what was wrong and if I disliked the food. Finally, after an eternity, I asked what my daughter had eaten because everything she cooked was all foods my daughter disliked. She was quiet for a few moments before finally saying that my daughter had not eaten since lunch. Needless to say, I was upset. I asked her why she didn't switch up the meal to accommodate my daughter's palate. She got really defensive and started saying my daughter was being dramatic and it was just food so she could still eat if she was hungry. We argued and I reminded her that it wasn't that simple for a picky eater like my daughter. After a while of going back and forth, I decided to end the conversation by ignoring my wife. I felt that my daughter's wishes were discarded. I took my daughter out to eat. I also brought her some sweets and we bonded and talked a lot. I discovered my wife had been purposefully cooking food my daughter doesn't like. My daughter has never been one to complain, so she has been using money from her paycheck and she wasn't going to eat this particular night because she had no intention of pulling money out of her account savings. We got home around midnight and my wife was upset that I took my daughter out instead of convincing her to eat her cooking. Me and my wife are going to have a long chat when I'm off work. Update number 1. I got home about an hour ago and was reading the comments for about 15 minutes. I'll be answering questions at the end of this post. The talk with my wife went okay-ish. I asked her what was going on. My wife was hesitant as she didn't want to have this talk at all, but finally she said she hates cooking for my daughter. She said that it was too much to go out of her way to constantly go out of her way to accommodate her and how annoying it was to always make sure the food is cooked to a certain texture and seasoned to my daughter's liking. She then revealed that she stopped cooking food the way my daughter liked it because our son didn't like it. She then proceeded to say that my daughter just needs to grow up as it was only food and wouldn't kill her, and how her being picky was just too draining. I asked why she didn't have a sit down with our kids to make some sort of compromise, and she said her son's needs came before my daughter's. She also revealed that she had straight up stopped buying more than half of my daughter's personalized grocery list because it was a waste of money and that our son needed the snacks that he wanted. I was dumbfounded and asked her if she was going to let my daughter go hungry, to which she responded by saying all she has to do is eat the food she cooked. I asked her what was draining about putting 1 or 2 pieces of plain chicken aside. She said that I wouldn't get it because I didn't cook for my daughter like she did. Which was true. I'm at work from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I only cook dinner on weekends, holidays, and holiday breaks. She apologized to me but suggested that I should convince my daughter to eat the food she doesn't like because it would make everyone's life easier. I then asked her if she would think the same thing if it was our son, and she didn't respond, which was answer enough. Yep. I don't know what to do now. If she's willing to let my daughter go hungry, how else would she be willing to neglect my daughter? What should I do now? Q&A. My daughter is in no way overweight, and she doesn't eat only junk food for vegetables. She eats carrots, lettuce, corn, asparagus, and cucumbers. For fruit, she eats watermelon, dragon fruit, apples, and mangoes. My daughter can, in fact, cook. The only reason she did not is because her fall break is coming up, and my wife didn't buy her entire grocery list, so she saved it. Which is honestly crazy because no kid should have to worry about how much food they can eat when they're hungry. My daughter told her bio mom, and she is upset and suggesting that my daughter go goes to live with her. My daughter chooses who she spends the year with herself, and if she wants to go, I won't stop her because I don't want my daughter in a house she's being neglected in. Also, I do not in any way force my wife to cook for my daughter. In fact, she insists on cooking for her, and if she came to me and said she didn't want to cook for my daughter, I would understand and wake up early to fix her food for the day or switch my schedule around. My wife goes on one grocery run for the entire month, so if she isn't getting everything on my daughter's grocery list, of course my daughter's meals will be limited. I talked with my daughter and she isn't mad at my wife at all and is even pushing for me to forgive her. It's frustrating because my 16-year-old daughter is trying to fix our marriage while my wife basically said she could care less about my daughter. My daughter is also willing to go grocery shopping with my wife and pay for her own food, so there isn't any more conflict. Some people were saying she might have AFRID disorder, and I'm definitely going to look into it. Any advice on what course of action I should take with my wife? On one hand, I love her. On the other, I can fathom the idea of being with someone. On the other, I can't fathom the idea of being with someone who is willing to neglect my daughter. Update number 2. I'm going to clarify some things and then answer the most asked questions. Do I intend to stay with my wife? No, I've already decided on divorce. Why do I refer to my wife's son as our son and my daughter as my daughter? My daughter doesn't call my wife mom, she calls her by her name, which makes sense because her mom is still very involved in her life. Naturally, I'd refer to my daughter as my daughter. As for my ex's son, I've known him since he was 7 and he didn't have any father figure in his life. He calls me dad. I treat him like my own. I thought it would be easier to understand throughout the story. Why won't my daughter just cook her own food? Well, if you read the story thoroughly, y'all would see where I said that my wife admitted to not buying most of my daughter's grocery list. This, of course, limits the food my daughter can cook and eat herself. She believes that it's a waste of money and should be used on snacks her son prefers and extra food. You asked, how bad is my daughter's relationship with her bio mom? My daughter and her bio mom's relationship is very good. She's never been neglectful towards her from what I know of. She lived with her bio mom from ages 12 to 15. I think she's keen on staying with me to try a different arrangement and get a break from her bio mom, as I know she can be a little crazy, and I mean that in a good way. Why doesn't my daughter eat the food my wife makes instead of throwing a fit? It's not as simple as just eating the food. She gets physically ill. Seriously, we try every now and then to expand her palate, no luck, and she will literally gag and vomit the food. Am I going to let her pay for her own groceries? Absolutely not. A child shouldn't have to worry about making sure they can eat no matter what age they are. That's the parent job. How is my wife only going grocery shopping once for a whole month? On the first of every month, my wife goes grocery shopping with our budget being $1K to $1.5K. My work schedule, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., off on weekends and holidays. Why am I letting my daughter leave instead of my wife? My daughter has a choice to stay with me or her mother. She's choosing to stay with me. My wife will be the one leaving once the divorce is finalized. Have I told my wife or the kids that I've decided on divorce? No, not tonight. I will be having a sit down with both of my kids separately and one with everyone together. I do teach my daughter how to manage her money. My daughter is a junior, so she is usually busy with a lot. She also plays soccer, volleyball, and is on the student council at her school. She shouldn't have to worry about having a meal to eat when she gets home. Not saying she is too young to go grocery shopping herself, but you get the point. My daughter isn't upset with my wife. She sympathizes with her because she knows it's difficult to accommodate someone with her taste palette. She's still insisting that I give my wife another chance, which is heartbreaking because my wife openly admitted to putting her own son's needs before my daughter's, which I'm not mad at. Protect yours, right? But I still don't play favorites with her son and my daughter. If our roles were reversed, I'd bend over backwards to accommodate him. People are also confused about how I didn't notice before. My wife always told me that she made a separate meal for my daughter, which I believed. I mean, I had no reason not to. And my daughter is a huge people pleaser, so of course she didn't say anything, probably because she was scared to drive a bridge between me and my wife. People are saying that my wife's neglect towards our daughter is far more serious, so I'm going to put my daughter in therapy because I know she won't just come out and say what other issues her and my wife have been having. My daughter isn't literally going hungry. She has a job. She still shouldn't be spending money on takeout every night. Me not forcing her to eat what she can't keep down isn't me spoiling her, and for the people saying that she should just suck it up, need to seek help. I feel extremely guilty as a parent for not seeing my daughter was being neglected sooner, and I hope my relationship with her can be fixed. I'm also going to look into all the conditions y'all are saying my daughter might have. Feel free to ask in the comments if you're still confused. Okay, final update here. Sorry it took so long to get back to everyone. I've been reading all of the comments for a while now and just want to say thank you for all of the support. First, I want to address the comments saying that I'm divorcing my wife because of a dietary issue that needs to wake up. The issue runs far deeper. My wife purposely neglected to buy my daughter's grocery list after insisting every time to do the grocery and food organizing on her own. She purposely neglected my daughter and disrespected her. There's literally no telling what else she is willing to do to my daughter, and already has. Therefore, I no longer trust her. I'm honestly disappointed in my wife. Just to clarify, my daughter isn't spoiled. She works for half of the things that she owns. She pays for her own school books and her own phone bills by her choice. She's also a straight A/B student. She literally is one of the biggest people pleasers you will ever meet. She's also a very calm-natured person and doesn't hash out her problems by fighting and yelling. She's very mature. I talked with my daughter first and told her I was divorcing my wife. She was shocked and kept persisting that I give her another chance and that she isn't in any way upset. I told her that I understand, but I was upset, and I assured her that this wasn't her fault and I just wanted the best for her. She got very defensive and said, "You need to be worried about your own happiness. I'm leaving for the military or college in a few years, and you're going to be an old man with no one there for you." I laughed and said that I could be 130 and still make the best out of being alone. After that, we laughed, we cried, she apologized, and we comforted each other. Next, it was time to talk to my son. He looked so taken aback, then started full-on crying. I comforted him, telling him that it wasn't his fault and continuously apologizing to him. After he calmed down, I explained the entire situation to him. He looked embarrassed and tired, and he started apologizing for his mother's actions. After a while, he cleared his throat and said, "So does this mean that you won't be my dad anymore?" I was heartbroken by that sentence and started shedding a few tears. I told him that he would always be a son and that I would still financially support him even if he cut contact with me. He cried and assured me that he wanted me as a dad and expressed that he knew that his mother wouldn't let me see him. I assured him and comforted him. About 2 hours later, it was finally time to break the news to my wife. I had both kids present, and most of you all suggested getting evidence, so my phone was in my pocket so I could record the entire conversation. I started the conversation off by asking what she had against my daughter. She was dead silent before I finally spoke up again, saying, "I'm divorcing you, so you should start looking for a lawyer." I asked her to explain why she was neglecting and disrespecting my child. At this point, she was crying but not making any sound. My daughter spoke up and suggested that we have this conversation later. I argued against the idea with my daughter until my wife spoke up and said that she did it because my daughter is the spitting image of her mother, my ex. Obviously, me and my kids and I were confused about what her mom had to do with anything. I asked her to explain further and she started crying. I could barely understand, but apparently I was cheating on her with my ex, not true. She said I would flirt with her on the phone while laying right next to her, also not true. Who in their right mind would even do such a thing? She said that the relationship I have with my ex isn't normal. I'll explain our relationship thoroughly in the comments. And no, I do not in any way condone cheating, and I haven't cheated on my wife once. After saying that our relationship was normal, she started berating my ex. Now, like I said before, my daughter is naturally a laid-back and calm person, but she does not condone any type of disrespect towards her mother. She gave my wife a verbal assault so foul Mike Tyson wouldn't recover from it before stomping off to her room. If you're wondering if I stepped in, the answer is no. I'm not sorry either. I wouldn't repeat what she said here because I don't want anybody attacking my daughter. The conversation basically ended there. I went upstairs to calm down my daughter, and my son stayed downstairs to console his mother. I'll be taking my wife to court for visitation rights with my son. I'll also tell you all the things my wife said in the comments to respect Reddit 3,000 word limit.
Am I wrong for breaking up with my boyfriend over the Barbie movie? My boyfriend and I are both 23 years old. I literally don't know what to do right now, and I feel so helpless turning to Reddit for advice and validation. But 3 days ago, my boyfriend and I went to go see the Barbie movie. I've been really excited as I'm a huge Greta fan, and my boyfriend liked Ryan Reynolds. Other than him being in the movie, my boyfriend didn't know anything else about it. I, on the other hand, was aware of its feminist themes and was secretly hoping my boyfriend would get the message. Over the duration of the movie, I could tell that my boyfriend was getting more and more uncomfortable and upset that I was getting really sad, both from the movie and his reaction. And I knew we would end up having a conversation about it afterwards. He didn't talk to me until we got in the car. He then told me that he was really offended by the movie and said that it was the kind of thing I should have watched with my girlfriends and not him. I understood where he was coming from, but I'm not going to even start explaining why I disagreed. We have been having problems with his weird comments about women, the LGBT community, and other stuff. He would deem it shit. Maybe it was a long time coming, but this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was tired of having to always deal with his attitude and disrespect and was also maybe on this girl power high, so I told him it was over. The complicated part is that he lives with me. He has been in between serving jobs, and since he was my boyfriend, I let him move in with me 6 months ago. Living with him is a whole other story, but I couldn't take it anymore and had him leave my apartment the next day. I stayed at my friend's house until he packed up his stuff. He said he understood and that he didn't want to live with me another second anyways. I assumed he had a place to go, but apparently he didn't. His brother called me a few hours ago saying he's MIA. His friends are blowing up my phone saying the same thing. I feel like this is all my fault. No one has heard from him in 24 hours. I did think it was weird when I came home and all the food in the fridge was gone. All the batteries in our electronics stores were gone. He took my phone charger and half the blankets. I know now he did not in fact have anywhere to go. Or a car. He had been using mine since his engine busted last month. The worst part is we still have his location and it says he is 2 states away. I don't know how he got there and I can't believe this is all because of the freaking Barbie movie. Women have zero problems watching movies that portray them as just accessories for the male hero and has been a very common theme for decades in the movie industry. But God forbid there is one movie where the roles are reversed and then these men are complaining left and right. Boo-hoo.
Have you ever had to lay down because your food delivery process was too stressful? Listen, I don't usually like pizza, okay? Yesterday, I was like, yo, I'm craving pizza, okay? Find a place that is that's near me, it's delivering pizza, it's not like a chain store, right? That's my big mistake. To be honest, that's my big mistake. Never support, no, actually, let me not say I order pizza, okay? And like, you know, when you order something on like Uber Eats or whatever, it gives you like 10 minutes to order something else, like, you know, without like paying extra for delivery or whatever. So I order like a cake from Magnolia Bakery. Like I order like banana pudding. Okay. So I order my pizza and my banana pudding. Okay. Anyways, so I'm like, you know, waiting for and I'm starving, right? Like I'm watching my fucking app. I'm watching this little guy, like, you know, bike from one place to another, right? And like, you know, I'm waiting and he's around the corner. I'm excited. I got dressed. I went downstairs. Like honestly, it was desperate. Like I was way too excited for food. I go downstairs, I'm waiting my pizzas. And he pulls up and he's taking forever to lock his bike. I'm like, Wallah, you don't need to. You can actually just pull up to the door. I'm outside. Like actually, but it's fine. I wait for him to finish everything, comes up to me. He doesn't speak English. He only speaks Spanish, right? Gives me the Magnolia Bakery. Gives me my little cake. And then he starts turning around to get on his bike, and I was like, excuse me, where's my pizza? And he acts like he doesn't know what pizza is. I'm like, no. I speak Arabic. I have multiple family members that only speak Arabic. They don't speak English, okay? We all know what a pizza is. Fuck off. We all know what a pizza is. Shut up. We all know what it's spelled like. We all know how it's pronounced. We all know what pizza is. You can even say it in different ways. You know, pizza, whatever your, you know, culture makes you say it like, okay? But we all know what a pizza is, okay? So he's trying to act like he doesn't know pizza. So I'm like, where's my pizza? And then eventually he pulls up Google Translate and I type in, where is my pizza? He reads it in Spanish and he's like, he types something. He writes it out and then he shows me and it says, the restaurant refused to give me the pizza. I was like, excuse me? So then I'm like, wait, give me your phone. So I type in and I'm like, why? And he goes, I don't know. He said, I don't have the facilities. I was like, what a weird word. What a weird word. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to say. He also said someone else will take care of it. Don't worry, just enjoy your cake, sir. I was like, sounds good, whatever. He goes away. I go upstairs. Within seconds, it just says order complete. Basically, I got charged, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yo, this is so annoying, right? So I call support. They fix the situation. They refund me, blah, blah, blah. I'm about to order again. But this time, I'm like, yo, let me call the pizza shop and see what the issue is. Because they've already made my pizza. I'm not going to wait another 45 minutes. You know what I mean? I call the shop, and the guy's like Italian, right? And I'm like, hi, excuse me? He's like, hello. I was like, I just have like a mini question. I just ordered a pizza, and the driver said that you refused to give it to him. And he was like, yes. Is this Adib? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yes, hello. It would have been a big risk. A big risk to deliver pizza? Excuse me? It's not gold. Wallah, it's not gold. He's like, no. The driver came on a bike. Okay. That is risky. Why would it be risky, sir? The pizza. What if it shifts and ebbs and flows inside the box? Ebbs and flows? What are you saying? What is? Give me the pizza. I'm starving. Fuck you. Actually, it was beefing. Oh my god. I've never actually, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted the technology to exist to just, like, be able to flick him on the forehead, like, through my phone. I was like, let the pizza ebb and flow, babe. Let the pizza ebb and flow. Let it ebb and flow. It's my pizza. Let it ebb. I want it to ebb and flow. Okay? Let it ebb and flow. So I'm like, listen, I don't care if the next person comes on a camel, a horse, a rat. Give them the pizza. Give them the goddamn pizza. He was like, are you sure at your own risk? I was like, at my own risk. Give them the pizza. He was like, okay. So I reordered the fucking pizza. And, someone else was going to pick it up, okay? This time we're going to call her Sarah, okay? She was a girl this time. Sarah, I see Sarah, going from on the map, going to his pizza shop, okay? She gets to the pizza shop, and I see her sitting there for 5 minutes. I'm like, the pizza's done. What's taking so long? He's doing something to her. I know. He's giving her an issue. 5 minutes into it, she calls me. I was like, here we go. I answer. It's like, hi, this is Sarah. You're on speaker. Yes, hello. Oh my god. Leave me alone, man. I already told you I'll take out my own risk. Yes, hello. I just wanted to tell you, she neither has the space nor the facilities to take this pizza. Yo, that sounds like you're attacking her. Like, that's not right. It's like holding back a laugh, but also it's like, are you holding my pizza hostage right now? What is the issue? She came on a motorbike. A motorbike? Is that any better than a bicycle that came before? I don't care. The pizza, the cheese will get stuck to the top of the box. I was like, I was like, listen, I would rather have cheese that's stuck to the top of the box than no cheese at all, because I never got my pizza. Okay, give me the pizza. Eventually he goes, okay, I'm gonna need you to repeat the following sentence. I, at my own risk, will take the pizza on a bike. I, at my own risk, take the pizza on a bike. Give me the pizza. He gives her the pizza finally. I wait like 10 minutes until the lady, shows up. She gives me a pizza, and literally I open the door, I take the pizza from her, and she just rolls her eyes. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, I'm not rolling my eyes at you. I'm rolling my eyes at him. I just had flashbacks just thinking about the fact that he interrogated me about the facilities, the gear, and the space that I don't have. And I just felt like it was a personal attack. I was like, I felt it too over the phone, I felt like that was a personal attack too. If I were you, I would have said something. That's all. Not me stirring the pot. But that's all I had to say, okay? Uber Eats, thank you so much for resolving the issue very quickly. But that pizza store is beef. Like, you know what hurts too? The pizza slap. The pizza was so good. That's what pissed me off so much. Like, how dare you have good pizza after all of that? How dare you have good pizza? Like, now I'm going to have to go pick it up myself next time on foot. Or on a bike, just to be spiteful. Like, honestly, oh my god. But it was so good. Like, it's fine. It was so good. But I literally had to lay down after it. It was too much.